Right there.
Oh, look at the hula hands. All right, Jackie, are you ready?
I'm ready. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the weekly Wine and Dine. My name is Jacqueline, and I'm going to be your MC this evening. And we have a wonderful lineup for you guys. If this is your first time here, please sit back. You're going to get a little bit of wine education with a lot of fun and learn about how to pair some wonderful wines with some wonderful dishes. Every week we meet at the same time. And before we get started, we always kick our Wine and Dine off with a toast. And this evening we have our very own CEO, Mr. Roy Rickard. Roy, take it away.
I'm enjoying some festivities, as everybody probably is, the holidays and the parties. And I'm actually doing a toast with a white. Tanya reminded me, like, we're having some butter chicken, and this Chardonnay is going to go great with it. But this right here is the first toast I've done with a white wine in some time. We drink a lot of reds in this house, but during the holiday seasons, when you're bringing out the different things and the spices, don't forget we have some great whites. And I'm just going to do a toast to the great white wines, and especially as you're doing your charcuterie boards with your, with your bries and your goat cheeses, and you experiment with those. Don't forget the whites are amazing with that. And this is the More Than Muse Chardonnay. It's very awesome. And cheers to the holidays and all the cooking going on. The smells of the season are the best, right? Cheers.
Salud. Thank you, Roy. And I'm sure you're going to hang around. We always love your wisdom about how the wines.
I'll be around.
Dishes. So we're going to get started. And every week we do have a formal host. And I am so excited. She has a wonderful lineup for you all. Everyone's very excited to be here. She's my dear friend from North Carolina. Many of you know her as Mama Chief. Here is Miss Sheila Matchett. Take it away, Sheila.
Yay! Hey guys, how y'all doing today? Got our festivities going on here. It is the week before the big C Christmas Day coming on, and we are, if you're like me and my family, I have a very large family and everybody wants to meet, but I don't always want to be eating all that heavy food. So our theme tonight is finger foods. Not always, the charcuterie boards, but just finger foods where you walk around, pick up and eat, talk, chat, and all that good stuff. So we're going from our appetizer all the way to our desserts, and it's all going to be finger foods, things that you can eat with your hands or toothpick, little napkin, or fork, if you have to be cultured and use a fork. Down south, when it says finger foods, there's no silverware. You use your fingers. That's just the way it is. So we have Miss Kim was supposed to do our appetizer, but unfortunately she had a family emergency. So I filled in. I made a similar dessert appetizer that she had. She did a Ritz cracker appetizer with some, just really quick and easy. We have Miss Lori Houlihan and Mr. William, known as Bill. They are actually going to be making an Italian barbecue sausage sandwich, is my understanding is, which sounds amazing. And then we have Emilio Cantu. He is our Texan here, our other Texan that is way down south. And he is actually going to be doing an angel cookie. That's the way it looks to me. I forgot what it's actually called, but it is beautiful. It's white, so it looks like an angel to me. So he's going to be talking about how to do that. All of these things are going to be quick and easy. Not necessarily quick, but it will be easy. Something that can go from party to party to party. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what mine is. Like I said, I threw this together in about an hour or less. So I actually did Kim was doing a Ritz cracker finger food. And what it is literally, it's very simple. You get a Ritz cracker, You can either put some pasta sauce at the bottom, or you can do some Alfredo sauce with some sprinkled cheese on top, and either use a pepperoni or any type of meat that you want. You can do shredded chicken, you can do bacon. You pop them in the oven till the cheese melts and it's good to go. Bring it out, serve it on a platter. You can have some celery or garnish or whatever around with it. Great finger food. Set it around all throughout your house, wherever you got people going, just little pockets of it, just so that they can pick it up. You can have your dip with your celery or your vegetables, and it can be either a horseradish, it can be a tzatziki sauce, it can be, you know, just a simple ranch dressing or hot mustard or Dijon mustard. I did a little rendition on that. I actually did bagels because I didn't have any Ritz. So this is what I usually have at my house, if y'all can see this. So here's my wines. And I actually, Roy, you're gonna have to help me with this one because you know my background. But I do have a Parables in Red, and I also have the Now Eddie. But then I found this lovely Moonlight Sonata Chardonnay. So if I was serving this particular platter, and you see I put my grapes in my wine glass. So guys, your wine glass isn't always just for wine. Use it for decorations. This will be, if I had some yogurt, I would have swirled some yogurt in there, put some grapes, swirled yogurt, put some strawberries on top, swirled yogurts, put some graham crackers. And that would have been my centerpiece with some little greenery garnish. So this is a great way, or just a basic centerpiece that's edible. Like I said, just walk around, they will grab something off of it, keep going, conversate, and you can see my little pizza bites over there. This is little bagel bites. You can, like she would have had the Ritz, but just have them a little spread that they could eat. And then you would have your wines. So which wine would pair better with this, Rory? Where are you at? Is he here?
He may have stepped away, Sheila.
Okay. All right. So Linda or Jackie, which one would you guys put there?
Linda, you want to go? You want me to go? Oh, okay. She's muted. Believe it or not, Sheila, either one, the red or the white, because of the different varieties that you have on your platter. You know, as Rory and Peter always educate us as we're doing this, guys, it make it fun when you're pairing, not necessarily, you know, whites go with this or reds go with that. Most times, if you like the wine, it's going to go well with anything. But as you are exploring and having fun, it does bring out different flavors as you pair with different foods. And as you were explaining the different things that you have, I believe, on your bagel bite there, to me, I think that would go better with the white, just because of the different things that you have. If you were to use a red sauce on the bottom of the bagel or the cracker, I would say then maybe you would go with a red, because that would bring out the different flavors. I think what the white would do is smooth that out and make it more buttery is where my take would go on that, Sheila.
Especially if I would have used the Alfredo sauce.
Yes.
The white would have been perfect with that.
Perfect.
Great.
Exactly.
All right, next we're going to go to William, Mr. Bill, and Miss Laura. Lori, we're going to see what they're doing. They're doing a barbecue Italian sausage, and I'm going to mute out, and y'all go for it.
Okay. I'm being the chef today. Today, we're having Italian sausage, and it's one of my favorite dishes that I do. For like 20 years, we used to have people come over for Super Bowl Sunday. We got that coming up. We've got New Year's Eve party, and of course, Christmas. And what's cool about this recipe, it's very easy to make. You can get a couple pounds of Italian sausage. My recipe, I forgot, I'm so used to making it for a huge crowd of like 30 people. So the amounts of the jelly and the chili sauce is for, really about 10 pounds of sausage. Doesn't matter what kind of sausage you use. You can use mild, hot, super hot, sweet, Johnsonville, fine. But what I usually do, I cook the sausage ahead of time, usually in the oven, or if I know I'm going to be tired, I might even throw it in a crock pot, maybe 2 pounds, put it in a crock pot for 8 hours. And the mixture is really pretty simple. You mix about, I'm going to say 2 bottles of Heinz chili sauce and probably about a half of a jar of Welch's grape. And then I throw a couple of tablespoons of mustard. Doesn't matter what kind. You can put Dijon, you can put, your favorite kind. You mix that up and you come up with a great sauce. And this is similar to many recipes that people have, like the smoky lake sauce, very similar to that. And then the great thing about it is you can do it as a finger food, or you can also do it on like a submarine roll, ganella bread. So you can have like a full sandwich. So you can have it as a meal or as an hors d'oeuvre. So.
Okay. All right. So we're going to let you get that started, and we're going to jump to Emilio and see what he's got going on. All right. Unmute.
That would help. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I prepared a dessert. I called it a holiday cheer cookies. They're really originally Mexican wedding cookies. You can see them. They serve them a lot in weddings or quinceañeras, the 15th birthday parties, or any other kind of a special events, and especially during the Christmas season, they're very popular. This recipe goes back more than 50 years, and I just happened to come across it. I've never made it myself, but when I saw the ingredients, it is very similar to what I'm familiar with. Anyway, I started out with 2 sticks of butter with about 7/8 cups of confectionate sugar, and mix that real good. And while I'm mixing that, almost there. Anyhow, I'll be adding the more dry ingredients like the cinnamon, a half teaspoon, 2 cups of flour, and what is it? 1.5 cups of ground walnuts. So we stir that real good. And after a while, once it's stirred up real good, I put it on a plastic wrap, like saran wrap, and I form it into like a U-log. Try to anyway. When you're doing this, you don't want it to be too thin. You want it to be at least 1.5 inches to 2 inches in diameter, and make sure it's round all the way around. And then you wrap it with a saran wrap or plastic wrap, and then put it in the refrigerator for about 1 hour, so that it'll harden. And after 1 hour, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay.
All right. Perfect. So we'll come back to you here in a minute.
So that's more or less what it's looking for right now. I put all those ingredients in there, and I'm just going to be stirring it and getting it ready.
All righty. Perfect.
Yeah, I love those kind of cookies. They're actually a Greek cookie that's very similar. And hi,
there
sorry,
you are. Where you been?
There he is, the man of the hour.
I needed you a while ago.
I'm sorry. I forgot. I got so much on cruise time, I forgot what day of the week it was. So
I'm so jealous.
We did
So-
pretty good pitch hitting, but we're
oh,
Yes.
I'm sure you did great. So yeah.
Perfect. So for those of you that don't know why we're here, I'm going to give you a brief introduction. We are a wine discoveries club. And we come here every Wednesday. We have several different chefs and cooks that come on with different meals, different food preparations, and we all pair it with a wine. We try to pick a wine that goes with the food. But like Jackie said before, this is a discoveries. You know, if you like reds, then hey, by all means, nothing says you can't drink reds with whatever. Same thing with whites. But what we've done is we've discovered that certain foods taste better with certain wine pairings, and that's why we're here. Doesn't say that you can't enjoy your favorite wine with whatever your meal is, but we're here to try to help educate you on exactly how your wine will make your food more enjoyable, how it will enhance the flavors, and help you pick out certain flavors or spices in your food that you normally wouldn't have picked up without that wine there. It is a wine discoveries club, and the thing about it is it's from Napa and Sonoma Valley, which right now is one of the most sought after regions for wines that you can get. If it's on your bucket list and you can't get there right now, this is your best option. You can get 4 bottles of wine, with around $100, and it comes right to your door. I mean, literally, order it, and within a week, you got it sitting there right for you. If you just like all reds, by all means, you can get all reds. If you like all whites, you can get all whites. I suggest you get the mixture so you can try your palate out with different foods and varieties. Your varietals that come in, you might surprise yourself. If you're not a white wine drinker, you might try that white wine, like Roy said, with a buttery flavored dish, and pick up all kinds of other foods that's going to titillate your palate like you would not believe.
Yeah. And one of the things I've talked about a lot is it's sort of my mission to make sure if you don't think you like white wines, I'm going to find white wines you're going to enjoy. If you don't think you like reds, you haven't tried our reds, we'll find a red you're going to love. You're going to change and you're going to love what you don't think you do. I liked what you were talking about with the pairings, but one of the things we do that's a lot of fun is we find unconventional pairings, things that you don't think should work and turn out that they do work. And that's one of the fun things we do every Wednesday. So
Exactly. Yeah, we've had some really good surprises. I know when we were in Dallas and we did our wine and dine, Sean had some surprises that he thought that the wine would have tasted perfect with it, and it wasn't. It still was good, but it didn't bring out the flavors that he thought it should have. So again, like I said, this is a discoveries club, and you can discover exactly what your palate can handle, and you might have a more renowned palate than you think you do. So we're going to go back. Yeah.
Let's see the cooks that I missed.
Yeah. Oh, that was just me. The appetizer, over and done. I was a fill-in, so it was really quick. We did a Ritz cracker bite that had bacon and cheese, and you can either do it with a mozzarella base or a Alfredo base. So just toast it, and I paired it with some vegetables and nuts and just made like a little tray that you can set around just for people to pick up and eat off of.
Oh, great thing this time of year.
Yep. And so we got Bill and Lori. You ready to let us see what you got going on back there?
Okay.
Yeah, we're on.
All right. And I believe the sausages are done. And Roy, you want to come over here and take a look at them? Now, I cut a few of them up, and then I left some, regular size. And you can do like this. Do a bite-sized sandwich or a small sandwich. Hawaiian roll work fine. Or toothpicks.
Yeah, I love the Hawaiian rolls with something a little spicy. That's fun.
Isn't it
I
good?
could eat the Hawaiian roll by itself.
Well, yeah,
That's my late midnight snack.
yeah. Hawaiian roll sliders are great with whatever meat you want to put on them.
Yep.
I'm gonna try not to drop these on Lori's clean floor.
With the fact that it's a clean floor, I think it would be all right to pick up and devour.
So we're ready to.
Yeah,
test
I
it?
can-
Okay. I'm gonna take one of these small bite-sized ones. And I'm doing, in honor of Peter.
Thank you. I'm glad I showed up because that should be
There
a
you
great
go.
combination.
So I took a sip. Now I'm gonna take a bite of the Italian sausage.
And our daughter is
Awesome.
here also.
Perfect.
She's tasting too.
So
Yes,
I
she's trying to
taste
stay out of the picture.
Yeah, I know. People get shy.
barbecue. I taste the Italian sausage. I chose the mild. The wine is really good. How about you, Glenn?
Honestly, I am not a huge wine drinker. This is actually quite good.
Well, that's what I love to hear. I mean, I can tell you what the huge wine drinkers do. I want to hear what you think. So
It's quite good. It's very smooth.
yeah, does it bring out anything in the food after? Anything change if you have the food, wine after you have a little of the food in your mouth?
Yeah, give it a try.
So just to let you know, she's graduated from barefoot wines to,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm working on it. Honestly, it's a little bit different.
is it? Yeah.
It's maybe like a little tangier or something. The sweet is like
Yeah.
calling out a couple things in the.
Yeah, those are great notes. That's what it should do.
See, when I grow up in my wine adventure, that's the way I'm gonna be.
You'll get there.
Working on-
My best student here. So
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Good job, guys. All right, Emilio. We are going to you. Thank you, Laura, Lori, and William.
Okay, so I got to where I put the whole all the dough and I rolled it up in saran wrap. I can see that. So I'll be putting that. This is the second batch. First batch, I already made one earlier, so I can have something to show. And yeah, the log or whatever, I put it in the refrigerator for 1 hour. But the finished product, after you take it out and you slice them about a 1/4 inch, maybe a little more, and you put them on the cookie sheet or wherever you're going to put them down, and you sprinkle more confection sugar on both sides, all over the place. The original recipe does not have the final touch, which I decided it might look good. I put maraschino cherry, so I put cherries.
Yeah, hold your plate up.
You know, see it?
Yep, there it is.
Okay.
Oh, those look beautiful. And you got it on a tree platter.
Yeah. I have it on the what?
A tree platter, a Christmas tree platter.
Oh, that's a table runner that I got for my wife about 2 or 3 years ago.
Perfect.
And,
So what wine are you pairing it with?
I'm pairing it with the Grand Cru Discovery Pinot Noir.
All right, so give us a taste. See what it tastes like.
Tastes good. Pinot Noir always tastes good.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Emilio.
Stacy's jealous. She says she should have came over. You didn't tell her.
I've been up and down. I forgot. Maybe I should have called her. Anyhow, here goes. So you can taste the sweetness because of all the confectionate sugar and lots of butter. And I could taste the other, like the cinnamon. And actually the wine is starting to taste a little bit sweeter. Peter, what do you help me out?
Yep.
He can't.
You're muted, Peter.
We can't unmute him, and Rory, I think you got to unmute yourself,
you.
buddy.
There you
Thank
go.
you there. I couldn't unmute myself. Somebody had to ask me to. So anyway, yeah, Pinot, there's a great taste. Great example. I talked about unusual wine pairings. Most people would do something sweet or do a white wine with that. And I think the Pinot's great. It'll help with the nuttiness and it'll be a counter to the sweetness. I think it'll be a great combination. And I was telling you, we have, who else we have here was going to tell us about the,
Hi, guys.
Oh, there's my heart.
yeah. She was going to she saw the Mexican wedding cookies and tell us.
Well, yeah, there's a Greek counterpart to that, and they're called curambedas, but same thing.
Yeah. And us Greeks always drink the red wine with it. So that's, yeah. So great choice there, Amelia. The Pinot was a nice idea. I love that.
Thank you, Peter.
Perfect.
Tastes great.
Great. So there you have it, guys. We had some amazing chefs tonight, some great finger foods for you to try. Check your chat for the recipes. If you're online and seeing us on YouTube, check in the comments. That's where you're going to find the recipes there.
Well, Sheila, before we finish, though, I think you have a special page that you actually did as a bonus.
Always.
Why don't you talk
Sheila
to
did
us
a
about
page,
that?
amazing.
Well, you know me, guys, I like to research. So whenever I come up with a theme, I always have the research behind it to find out why people do what they do with the foods that they eat. So there is a research page I did on finger foods, party finger foods, and how they came about. And as with everything, it started over in England, in Europe, where people would have all these big soirees and get-togethers and had house parties. And these were sort of like the hors d'oeuvres before the meal. They had them in between the meal. They had them after the meal. And it was just little things that would tide them over until they ate. But as they got bigger and bigger, and with the wars and everything that broke out, they got less and less. So all of a sudden, instead of having these big elaborate feasts, it started to become trays. Also, that's where the charcuterie boards also came into play, where they would just have little small trays set up for people to eat. And then some of the less affluent people would have these as their meals. They would have all the foods that they could have. They would have them arranged from the sweets would always be at the end, and they would have their breads, cheeses, and then they would have their meats. Whatever was of prevalent, they would have fruit, would also be their starting course. Some people, if they couldn't afford sweets, because sugar was it was a luxury to have sugar back then. So most people had fruit for their desserts, whatever fruit was in season. And then the sandwich, you know me, since Bill had the sandwich, I did the research on the sandwich, and it was always there, but it wasn't called the sandwich. And then you have the Earl of Montague. I can't remember what his name is, but he was a heavy gambler. He liked to go to his gambling clubs, and he didn't want to leave the table to go eat. So he would have his valet go tell the chef to put him some meat on some toasted bread, and bring it to him. So he didn't have to have greasy hands to deal with his cards. And he didn't have to leave his game of play. And it kind of picked up in the upper echelons to have these sandwiches at their soirees. So that's where the sandwich came in. And he was actually called the Earl of Sandwich. That was his title. So that's where we get the name Sandwich from.
Right. Sandwich is a town in England.
Yeah, exactly. It is a town in England. So there you go. There's a whole sandwich thing. And then different cultures couldn't always afford yeast. So they would have unleavened bread. And guess what came from the unleavened bread? Your pitas.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had different cultures that would have pitas, their tacos, the different things where they would stuff the meats and vegetables onto the unleavened bread. You had your flatbread pizzas came from that. So there's a whole history of why you had finger foods. They would actually quarter the pitas. They would quarter the leavened breads, cut it in half, and make multiple meals out of one piece of leavened bread. And they would just put on whatever was there. Goat's cheese, because most people had goats, cows, they would use the cheese, the milk. So they always had the cheese there. That was a staple in most houses or most homes. And then as they migrated over to the United States, they brought those recipes with them. Different cultures changed it, but it just became a staple. The sandwich became a staple. The finger foods became a staple, the unleavened bread. So we inherited, just like we inherited our culture for wine, we've inherited our culture for finger foods. But being the United States and the way we are, we love to eat. So we're going to make anything out of a meal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you're talking about that at holiday spreads. And you're reminding me, I'm here in my hometown, which is one of the oldest towns in New England. And there's a museum here that shows Christmas in New England through the years. We went down there and they showed us in the early days with the Puritans, actually celebrating Christmas was illegal. You could be put in the stocks, but New Year's, the society ladies would compete to put on the biggest spread that people, they would go from house to house and they had these very elaborate spreads of finger foods and that was a competition. And that was sort of where some of the holiday spreads came from, that.
I actually have a page in draft on the 12 days of Christmas. And that was one of the things that they were talking about, was that they would take the 12 days and go visit houses for food.
Yeah. And here's another little Christmas tidbit I'm going to throw in. It's one of my favorites from that tour I heard. Everybody knows the song, we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You know that line, we won't go until we get some, we won't. Well, the tradition was they would go from house to house and carol and then ask for and demand basically rum bread or whatever bread that was soaked with alcohol. The alcohol was their objective. They wanted to get drunk, and they would get drunker and drunker as they went to each house. And if you didn't give them some after they would carol long enough, and if they didn't give them some, they would have the right to break into your house and ransack it. So that's what, when you hear we won't go until we get some, they meant it. They would not go until they took every drop of booze in your house. Figgy pudding, right?
Figgy pudding.
Right, figgy pudding. Yeah, figgy pudding is basically sweet soaked with as much booze as they could get.
Booze as you can get it.
Yep.
Well, Sheila, you did fabulous as you always do. But before we sign off for this evening, I do think Mr. Rickard has popped back in and he's going to give us his words of wisdom of how all these wines pair with the food. So Roy, where are you at, brother?
I'm right here, and I'm going to tell you, you guys are learning really well. Like, I mean, Peter, we don't really have much to do anymore. I
know. Yeah.
They're picking it up. We're going to have to get creative on some new releases, I think.
I know. Man.
I was writing down, we're going to talk to these winemakers and see what else we can toss their way. In the coming, well, I guess it would be years from now, but let's, I'm going to just go over one thing. Have fun. It's the holidays. And if you have a lot of people over, or even a few, it's not bad to start out with a light wine and go to a darker wine and a darker wine and a darker wine or a heavier wine. And so I'll tell you what Tanya likes to do is she likes to start every day out with a rosé, like a dinner meal. Rosés come out all the time, right? That's what she drinks when she's getting the kitchen going. And yep, Sheila, that's exactly what she does. And then usually when we start the charcuterie or the appetizers, ours are usually a full-on charcuterie presentation. You know, I like brie, and brie goes really well with a sparkling, really well with a sparkling. Like, and I'll tell you what my favorite thing to do, and is like brie and like a blueberry and sparkling. I just love that taste. And then you start moving more towards like a Chardonnay or a Sauvignon Blanc, and then you can go into like the Tempranillo, or I botch saying that every time, the Tempranillo. See, now I'm going to make it really hard.
You had it. Now you stumbled over.
Tempranillo.
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 Thank you, Peter. And then I go in like a Grenache if you have the Grenache left, and then you can go into like the Pinot Noir, Cab Sauv, Merlot, Zin. The red Zin would be like, that would be my last one to go on. And you just start with like the cheeses and go to the meats, but you can start going to the reds as you go towards the mill. And it doesn't hurt to taste all those wines, and especially if there's a lot of people there, a bottle of each, then they get that assortment and that taste. It's just awesome. You know, Peter and I have done some tasting meals. We went to one that was like, I don't know how many courses it was. It ended and you didn't want it to end, but you were full, like so full. But we did the pairings along the way, and that's kind of what that does. It gives you that experience. And, you know, the first taste is always the best taste. So having small portions is a good thing. It's a celebration, right? So enjoy that during the holidays. You guys just gave us a lot of assortment tonight and things to play with. But, you know, when you've got a lot of people, sometimes the best thing to do is just spread the love. Let them try different things and say, now try this, now try that. And it's a gift in itself. It really is. And most people haven't done this. We always have people when they come over. I know, Peter, same thing. You're like, try this. And they're like, yep. Oh my gosh, I would have never tried that. You're like, I know, now try this. You know, it's and for those of us that have done that a lot, watching somebody else do it again is just like a newborn at Christmas, or not a newborn, but, you know, like Malik at Christmas. It's all new, right? And it's just fun. And this is the time of year to really get away with it, because we have a lot of sweets and a lot of things. And when you're pulling out the sweets, you can do the same thing with the wines too. You know, like a sugar cookie or the butter cookies and a Chardonnay, unbelievable together. And if you get those butter cookies, you know, those thumbprint ones that have like the jelly in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, those go great with wine. Like, amazing. Just saying. I'm looking forward to it this year for me.
Oh yeah.
There you go, Jackie. There's my 25 cents worth.
I say that was $1 at least.
I'd love to have you come on, but well, this is going to close our evening. And thank you so much, Sheila, and thank you all the cooks. Guys, we do this every week, same time, same channel. So if you know someone that you think would enjoy to learn more about what we have here, please invite them. And for now, God bless.